A story of bravery as a vintage plane crashed and burned in Connecticut.
Today, investigators for the National Transportation Safety Board began collecting evidence at Bradley International Airport where the plane went down. CBS 2's Allie Bauman here now with the new information. Allie?
Christina, Maurice, these passengers each paid hundreds of dollars for what was supposed to be a brief joyride. 4 of the 6 survivors are still in the hospital, and now federal investigators are combing through inspection records. They're interviewing experts and witnesses and retracing the final flight of this 75-year-old bomber known as the Flying Fortress.
How did that happen?
Deborah Rydell took video of her husband Robert, a history buff, boarding the vintage bomber with other passengers Wednesday morning at Bradley International Airport. She gave a thumbs up as they took off at 9:45 a.m. Within minutes, she got a text from her husband in the air.
He said, they're making us go back to our seats. They're going to buckle in and going back. I sent him a question mark, and he wrote one word, turbulence.
At 9:54, the pilots radioed the control tower about a problem with one of the aircraft's 4 engines. Attempting an emergency landing, the plane crashed into a maintenance building and exploded.
There was this huge fireball and black smoke just billowing.
Robert Rydell was one of 7 people on board who died, along with retired police officer Gary Mazzone.
I think the biggest thing that I'm sad about is just, you're not going to see him anymore, and what do you do with that?
The 6 surviving passengers were able to escape the fiery wreckage with the help of Air National Guardsman James Trafficante, who was also on board.
Having broken limbs and other injuries to his collarbone, and even that, he was able to open a hatch.
Thursday, federal investigators searched through the charred remains, trying to piece together what went wrong.
We do have witness statements that have stated they saw work being conducted on 1 or 2 engines prior to takeoff.
This B-17 bomber was manufactured in 1944 and one of just 16 currently registered in the U.S. The NTSB will now evaluate the safety of these aircrafts.
Since 1982, the NTSB has investigated 21 accidents involving World War II era bombers. Those resulted in 23 fatalities. So we have to look at this one independently, and then we'll take a look at the history and make appropriate recommendations.
The pilot, 75-year-old Ernest McCauley, also died. The NTSB says he had accrued more than 7,300 hours in the B-17, the most flight hours for that aircraft of anyone in the country. Maurice?
Okay, thank you, Allie.